Back in January, when it was the Australian summer, I painted the floor with polyurethane paint, which meant everything in the garage had to go out, including all the machinery and storage and all that sort of stuff. As a result, when I was moving everything back in, I was able to get rid of a few things that were really inconvenient. We had a set of school lockers that we were using as cupboards, and they just aren't right for storing tools and things like that. They're nice and deep, but they're very narrow and very tall. So they're great for, well, books and bags, but not for tools. As a consequence of getting rid of that, I've now got this large space here where I've got crap piling up, for lack of a better word. And in this video, I'm going to build some cupboards that go here. I'm going to have one with a door and shelves and two with drawers. They're going to be 3 separate units so that if one day I do get a miter saw, I can raise 2 of them up to make it, or lower one I suppose, to make it flush with the miter saw, so it can be in feed, out feed, or if we do rearrange the garages at a later date, I don't have to build new cabinets again.
As usual, I started by breaking down the plywood into more manageable pieces using my track saw and plywood cutting platform. Then the tops and bottoms could be cut to length at the table saw. I chose dominoes, but dowels, biscuits or pocket screws or even just a rebate would work really well for the joinery for this. It's a long gluing surface after all, and the dominoes are simply there just for alignment. After checking for squareness, I pinned everything with a nailer instead of clamping, then let it dry overnight. Using a router and a 5mm rebate bit, I cut a rebate in the back for the 6mm or 1/4 inch MDF panel. Because I'm cutting it from a square sheet, I chose to square up the corners of the cabinet rather than rounding the panel, and I used my corner chisel to make this a bit easier. I really need to make a handle for it.
I want to have one of the cupboards with shelves, adjustable shelves in it, and a door, and the other 2 will have drawers in it. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I should have drilled those shelf pins before I assembled the cabinets, but it's not that big a deal to do it now. All I need to do is take this piece of MDF, and I'm going to make a template for drilling the shelf pin holes so that they line up on all 4 sides so the shelf is nice and flat. So I've got my piece of MDF, it's just an offcut of the backs of the cabinets. I've drawn a tick mark about every, I think it's 10 centimetres, and that's where the removable pins will be. So I'm going to drill through with 5mm bit because I'm using 5mm shelf pins. Then I can clamp that into the cabinet and drill. Brand of the plywood I was making the cabinets out of. However, my mum had purchased a exterior grade ply that has an exterior hardwood on it and fewer cores than the flower ash poplar core stuff. But this will be suitable for making the kicker. I'm going to raise and level the kicker for all these cabinets and put the cabinets on top of it, as well as for the door. So I'm going to cut out the kicker now, and then the rest of that, or some of this piece, can be made into at least one door. Going to be using these concealed hinges for the cabinets. These are Prestige brand, and on the inside of the packaging it comes with 2 cardboard templates for setting up the hinges. Now the cup part goes on the door, and the base, this part here, goes in the cabinet itself. So we'll work on the door first. So I need to mark this out based on what the template's telling me, drill it out and go from there. So that's enough for this video. In the next part, which may not be the next video out, I will show you how I've made the kicker, which is currently just temporarily clamped, as well as making the drawers and handle for the door. Now you may have noticed when I was attaching the door that I had a bit of issues with sag, and that's been fixed. I just needed to get things a little bit more square. I'm not overly fussed, these are garage cabinets after all. Thanks for watching.